Hey guys, thank you very much for joining. I'm sorry for the late hour today. It's like 8:30 in Prague. I've had a very busy day today, and I will have a reason to make this short this time for reals because I have a food delivery coming in half an hour, so I need to finish within the time. So at 20 minutes actually. So I'll try to be fast, not only promise it. Today's topic is about tips if you're renting an apartment in the Czech Republic. So how to do it safely. Okay, so I'll go through 5 tips on how to rent an apartment in the Czech Republic safely. So I'll do that again because I'll use these videos for other purposes as well. So today's topic is 5 tips on renting an apartment in the Czech Republic safer. Number 1, get a lease. Number 2, get the lease in Czech. Number 3, get the lease checked before you sign it. Number 4, get a handover protocol when you're taking over the apartment. And number 5, make photos of the apartment and share it with the landlord or make it a part of the handover protocol. I will get to details right now because we've recently faced couple problems with this. So I'll talk about all these points in details right now. So number 1, get a lease. So number 1 tip on renting an apartment in the Czech Republic safely is to get a lease. This might sound like a stupid thing, but you would be surprised how many people do not get a lease. They just believe the landlord. They believe to what they said or what they have in an email or something, and they don't even get a lease. That might be fine if you're living in your parents' apartments or your very good friend. But in any other case, don't do that because whatever you agree on has no value if it's not on paper. So if you don't get an apartment, if you don't get a lease, you don't get any rights. So make sure that you get a lease in paper, signed, everything. Okay. Second tip for renting an apartment in the Czech Republic safely is to have the lease in Czech. Because you are renting an apartment in the Czech Republic, the official language is Czech. So whatever, if that goes to the worst case and you go to the court with the landlord, the Czech version of the lease will be the main one. Okay, so you can of course get a lease in both Czech and English, that's fine, but you should not get a lease only in English. Because also, if you want to use the lease agreement for some official purposes, like for the Ministry of the Interior, for any type of visa application or residence permit application, all the documents must be in Czech. So if you have your lease agreement in English, it will be useless anyway. So tip number 2, get your lease in Czech. Okay, yeah. So Moira Crowley, so basically do what you do in your home country. Basically, yes. Unless you do something different in your home country. So these are the tips from our daily life, what people complain about. Because we've had recently a case where I got a question, how to deal with a landlord who doesn't want to give you your deposit back. And it's kind of difficult to do something with it now if you are already in the situation that they don't want to give you the deposit back. But you could have avoided this problem if you followed these couple rules. So that's why I'm repeating that, because it might be different for every country and every person. Just a second. Yeah, I have a dog here. I'm shooting this video at home because it's almost 9 o'clock in the Czech Republic. And the dog usually sleeps the whole day. And when I start doing a live stream, then he starts doing crazy stuff. But anyway, back to the topic. Tip number 3 on how to rent an apartment safely in the Czech Republic is to have the lease agreement checked by someone who understands it. Not in terms of the language, like the Czech language, that you have a Czech speaker to check it, but someone who knows what the housing law is about. Because I've seen plenty of apartments in my career in Move to Prague. So in 11 years, I've seen hundreds of lease agreements. And some of them include very, very crazy parts and paragraphs. And now I'm frozen. I'm back. Okay, so very crazy paragraphs which should not even be there by the law, but they are there. And if you signed it, they're kind of binding because you signed it. You agreed on that with the landlord and you need to follow it. So it's very important to have someone who understands leases and like the law related to that, to check your lease agreement before you sign it. Don't get yourself rushed into signing a lease agreement or into signing some reservation contract. Some very bad, I must say, real estate agents, and again, recent experience, they will force you to sign a lease agreement or the reservation contract and pay the reservation deposit, reservation fee before you even see the lease agreement you will be signing. And that's the most stupid thing you can do, because you already pay someone money for giving you the lease. And then if the lease is complete like bullshit and they say, hey, we will not change anything, what can you do? You just lose your deposit or the fee you paid to the real estate agent. So if someone wants you to sign a reservation deposit before they show you a lease agreement which you will be signing, and before you negotiate the lease agreement, just go away. Don't sign anything with these people, because that's bullshit. They just try to like rip you off. Any normal agent, any professional agent will first let you read the contract, read the lease agreement, and only after that, if everything is fine, they will reserve the flat for you and you will sign the reservation contract and you will pay the deposit. If they want to do it the other way around, something stinks there. Okay, so that's what's tip number 3. Tip number 4 on how to rent an apartment in the Czech Republic safely is to get a handover protocol. That's like a small thing. I would say that it happens in 50% of cases, but make sure it happens in your case, because the handover protocol is about stating everything which is working or which is not working, which is or which isn't in the apartment. It also states, so basically, it's a list of all the furniture included in the apartment. So you know that there were like 1 table and 4 chairs. There was 1 sofa, there was 1 TV, all this. Because this can change, especially if you live in the apartment for like 4 years, 5 years, longer, I don't know, even 3 years, 2 years. Then you will buy some of your furniture, you will get rid of some older furniture, or something can be moved or stuff. And like after 3 years, you will not remember what exactly was in the apartment in the beginning. So it's very important to do this. Second thing is also that you should state in the handover protocol what was not working or what were some problems in the apartment. Because if you move into the apartment, you will see like some scratches here, some scratches there. This is not opening properly. This is not working properly. But if you don't mention it in the handover protocol, then when you're leaving the apartment after 3 years, that it will be super easy for the landlord to say, hey, but you destroyed this. That wasn't in the apartment. That wasn't broken before you moved into the apartment. And if it's not stated in the handover protocol, then it's just your word against theirs. So make sure that everything which is broken in the apartment or missing or like some scratches or whatever on the floor, on the walls, that everything is written down in the handover protocol, because then you have something on paper when you're leaving the apartment. So that would be that. What is also written in the handover protocol is usually the readings of the meters, like the electricity meter, gas meter, water meter, heat meter, whatever is in the apartment. And that's also very important, because usually when you live in the apartment, one of the reasons why the landlord can keep your deposit or part of it is if you have any debts against the landlord. So if you like owe them some rent, or if you have any debts against the electricity company, internet company, gas company, all this. So this should be also like integral part of the handover protocol, that you write down the readings of the meters and you know exactly the starting points of the electricity, gas, and everything. Okay, so that was point number 4. And point number 5 on how to lease an apartment in the Czech Republic safely is to take photos of the apartment when you're moving in, and even a couple days after, because if you move in, or even if you inspect the apartment in advance before you sign the lease, you usually see it for, I don't know, half an hour, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes, depends. Even if you do the handover protocol, it's like 1 hour tops, and you will not find all the small scratches or everything. So if you find something later, like you are living in the apartment for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, and you find that something is not working, something is like scratched or something, then you should take a photo of it, send it to the landlord and say, hey, I've just discovered this. I just want to make sure that it's noted somewhere that we didn't do that. Because again, if you're moving out 3 years later, you will not remember, and the landlord will not remember if this was scratched already or this was like a bit broken or not. They will not remember. So it's good to have everything documented with photos. So do the photos when you're taking over the apartment, send it to the landlord via email the same day. So you have it on record, and you can anytime in the future go back to it and say, hey, but this was already done, or this was already there when I was moving into the apartment. Okay, so those were 5 simple tips on how to rent an apartment in the Czech Republic safely. And I see that I have some questions on YouTube, so I'll reply those questions. And then I'll probably need to finish the live stream because I have a food delivery ordered and it should be coming any minute. So Sandeep, sir, it's really effective to go to ministry office and ask for a status. They tell us everything. If yes, then I want your service. Please go for me and I will pay you. Sandeep, well, it depends. And Bulat, I will get to you, Bulat, as well. So I'll first reply the question of Sandeep, and then I will get to you, Bulat. So Sandeep, if you go to the ministry, you can find out everything they have in the system. Because if you check just the online system, you will see if the application was approved, denied, or in process. They will not give you any details. If you call the line, they should not tell you any details either, because they don't know if it's really you calling. So they should not tell you any details of the case. So if you want to find out all the possible details, going to the ministry is the only way to do that. And then when you're at the ministry, it depends on the decision maker, because the person at the ministry can only tell you what they see in the system. So obviously they see there the most important things, like when you applied, where you applied, when the documents were delivered to the ministry, when someone was assigned to the case, when they started working on that. They also see if you sent some additional documents later on, if they requested something from you. Things like this. If it was approved, obviously, denied, or still in process. So these things, that's something we can for sure find out. But then if they tell us something extra, that depends on the decision maker, because the decision maker who's making the decision about your visa or residence permit, they should be making notes into the system of the ministry. So they should be making notes like, I'm missing this document, we'll be sending him a letter to deliver the document within 2 weeks or something, or I've checked this and all seems good. But I would say in, 70% cases, maybe they don't write any notes there. So when we go to the ministry, we will find out all the things I mentioned, like when it was submitted, where, like who's taking care of that, what's the status, if you send additional documents, if they requested something, all this. But then we will only find, on top of that, we will only find out what the decision maker wrote there. So if they didn't make any notes, we will not find out anything more. If they wrote some notes there, Agnello, hi mate, nice to see you. So if they made some notes into the system, they will be able to tell us. So they will be able to read, okay, the decision maker wrote that your proof of accommodation is incorrect. He will be sending you a letter tomorrow or something. And then you can prepare for it. You have some additional information. But that only applies in case the decision maker makes the notes. Hopefully that was good enough answer. Also, Sandeep Gohel, I believe that you are the today's subscriber to my Patreon. So guys, if you're not my patrons on Patreon, please join there, because it will give me really a lot of power to do more videos like this and live streams. So Sandeep, I know that you subscribe to my Patreon. Thank you very much. And I will reply your questions which you asked there later today. When I finish the live streams, I will go there and will reply. Thank you very much. And now to the Bulat's question. Hi Jan, thank you very much for your advice. People say landlords would like to set higher rent prices for foreigners than the native citizens. Do you have any advice on how to avoid this situation? Well, It's not exactly like that. It doesn't work the way that if Czech person goes to see an apartment, they will get a different price than if you go to see the same apartment. It's kind of the price are generally the prices are the same for Czech and foreigners. On the other hand, I will give you an example which will hopefully explain that. For example, old people in the Czech Republic, let's say 45 and higher, 50 and above, they don't speak any other language than Czech. So they will prefer to have a Czech person in the apartment. So they will also like they also, you know, they don't know much about renting apartments. They often don't reconstruct the apartments, you know. That's maybe an apartment they bought for their kids and then they moved out and now they're trying to rent the apartment out. So they will keep the prices low because they just, I don't know any better, or don't want to make any like extra money, or just don't want to have the hustle, you know, because the lower the price you have, the more people will apply, and easier you choose the tenant. So they just like keep the prices low, but they will never accept you as a tenant. They will never even reply your messages. So you kind of you cannot reach to these apartments because the landlords kind of don't want to rent to foreigners if the price is very low. That it's on the other hand, if the apartment or if the landlord is ready to accept a foreigner, they kind of are either younger or have more money or traveled, and they reconstructed the apartment, or they can offer like a higher comfort for you. You know, they might have the lease agreement in Czech and English. You know, so it kind of increases the price, but not because they are offering the flat to foreigners, but just because it's a different type of landlords and different types of apartments usually. So that's probably what I would say about that. If you have any advice on how to avoid the situation, well, people often try to write in Czech. If they are replying to advertisements, they try to reply in Czech, or like Google Translate, or hire a Czech, or like ask a friend to write it. I don't think it makes much sense, because if you don't speak Czech and you write the message in Czech and you go to the apartment to see the flat, and the landlord sees you and they don't speak English and you don't speak Czech because you just Google translated something, they will not rent the apartment to you anyway. So unfortunately, maybe a solution for that would be using real estate agents, because if you go to websites like Bezrealitky, where landlords advertise flats directly without real estate agents, then they will most likely not even reply to you if you write in English, or if they know that you're a foreigner. But if you go to real estate agents, they should not care that much about that, and they should have someone who speaks English. Obviously, not all the real estate agents, there are good ones and bad ones, but you have higher chances of getting a flat like that. So then it depends what is better for you. If to rent a bit more expensive apartment but don't pay any commission, or if you find a cheap apartment and you will pay a commission. So it depends what's the difference. You know, if you pay 15,000 crowns commission, but you get 2,000 crowns lower rent, then you will get the money in get the money back in 8 months. So it's worth it. It's worth paying the real estate agent instead of going through private landlords and so, and pay more. So hopefully this was helpful. If not, let me know. But it's possible that someone will call me now that they're delivering the food and I will need to finish the live stream. Gabriel, thank you. When I applied for family reunification visa, there were 2 original documents missing. So I was supposed to submit. Unfortunately, my country is still banned. What should I do? Please advise. Well, if you're missing some documents and the ministry or the embassy told you to deliver the documents within some deadline, you need to do that. Or you need to let them know, send them some official letter saying, hey, I need more time because, I don't know, this is closed or whatever, reason it, and then ask them to extend the period, like the deadline for submitting the documents. Because if they give you a deadline to deliver missing documents and you don't deliver the missing documents, they can easily deny your application. Yeah, Bulat, I'm happy to hear that. If you have any more questions, let me know. If you need any more tips, get in touch directly and I will be happy to elaborate. I would normally talk more about it, but now I'm really expecting the food and they will be ringing the doorbell anytime, so I need to be careful about the time. But I will be happy to give you more insight if you get in touch directly. And as for the Patreon link, I will send. If you go to my previous video from Monday, the link is there in the comments, but I will post it in the links here in the comments here as well when I finish the live stream. Yeah, so back to Gabriel. Yeah, if you don't give them the documents they requested, or if you don't give them the documents within the deadline they gave you, they can deny your application. So it's always best to communicate with the embassy or with the MOI and explain, hey, I didn't have enough time to get the documents because the authorities are working slowly because of COVID, so I couldn't get it in time. Please give me more time. If you communicate with them like this, most of the decision makers will understand it and will extend the period for you. But if you just stay silent, you don't let them know, and you just don't send them the documents, they will be happy to deny your application because they will say, hey, we gave him this amount of time. He never responded. He never gave us the document. So he's probably not interested in getting a visa like this. So definitely make sure that you try to get the documents in time. But if it's not possible for objective reasons, not because you're lazy and you don't want to go get the document, but if it's because the embassy or the authorities are closed, or it takes them longer time, then definitely communicate with the embassy or communicate with the MOI, send them a letter, explain everything, ask them to extend the deadline for you. Okay. All right, guys. I always say that this time it will be shorter because I aim to do like 10 minutes videos, but it always is like half an hour or even longer. So now I've done 22 minutes, which is good for me, I would say. But I'm set to finish this because I have many comments now on YouTube, and thank you very much for that, Sandeep, Bulat, Gabriel. Thank you very much. I have still viewers on Facebook as well, even though they are not that active. They don't ask any questions today, but I appreciate you as well. So I would like to stay with you, but any second I'm expecting the food. So, guys, as always, if you have any further questions, please get in touch with me directly. If you're watching me from Facebook, then you're part of my expats in CZE help and support group already. If you're not part of that, please go to my Facebook, look for this group, expats in CZE help and support group. I give free advice there and I post all the videos there. On YouTube, I go live every Monday and Thursday on different topics. It's usually like this, 25 to 30 minutes. And I also answer your questions. And then I'm also very active on TikTok. I'm doing pretty well there, in my opinion. And I'm active on Instagram as well, but I just don't understand Instagram. So it's kind of bad for me there, but you can join me there as well. I know it's not a good advertisement to say that I'm bad there, but it's just how it is. I'm doing pretty well on TikTok. I can have like high views, like 20K or stuff, which in my opinion is fine. It's not millions like other like creators, but 20,000 views for me is very good. But on Instagram, I don't know how much I had, like the highest number. Yeah, anyway, so thank you very much, guys. See you again on Monday. And meanwhile, if you want to reach out to me, if you are on Facebook, then the group is the best way to reach out to me. If you're on YouTube, then go to my previous videos, and there are all the different contacts, like direct contact to through the website or my email, or all the links to TikTok and everything. And now someone is calling me, so I guess that's my food. So thank you very much again, guys. Nice speaking to you, and have a lovely evening, and speak to you on Monday again. Bye-bye.